Słuchasz podcastu Angielski z Konradem. Nowe odcinki każdego tygodnia. Jeśli chcesz popracować nad płynnością, nabrać odwagi do konwersacji, skorygować często popełniane błędy bądź poznać skuteczne metody nauki, ta audycja jest dla Ciebie. Remember, you're not at school, so chill out, kick back and enjoy yourself. Let's begin. Witaj w kolejnym odcinku. Zanim zaczniemy, pozwól, że pokrótce przypomnę, jak możesz wykorzystać mój podcast. Jeżeli czujesz się pewnie ze swoim angielskim, wystarczy, że przesłuchasz audycji. Dla tych z Was, którzy potrzebują odrobiny pomocy, pamiętajcie o notatkach do odcinka. Zatrzymuj podcast, przejrzyj notatki, w razie potrzeby powtórz nagranie. Zapisz się do newslettera za pośrednictwem strony angielskiskonradem.pl, by otrzymać natychmiastowy dostęp do notatek z tego i wszystkich poprzednich odcinków. Dostaniesz również powiadomienia o nowych odcinkach. Jeżeli masz pytania, uwagi czy sugestie, skontaktuj się ze mną za pośrednictwem adresu angielskiskonradem@gmail.com bądź za pośrednictwem fanpage'a Angielski z Konradem na Facebooku. Switching to English. Hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Angielski z Konradem. I hope you are well, ready and willing to learn. Thank you for joining me today. A few words of explanation before we jump into our today's topic. When I started this podcast, I was planning to record one episode per week. So far, I have been pretty close to that plan. However, over the past few weeks, some life-changing events happened in my, life. Namely, my daughter was born. If you have children yourself, you know what I'm getting at. They turn your life upside down. So I had virtually no time for anything else and have been sleeping for about 3 or 4 hours each day all through June, and still am. Which brings us to today's episode. It's going to be the final episode for a bit. But be aware that this isn't the end. I shall continue recording more episodes of the podcast over summer holidays, and I intend to publish them on a weekly basis starting from September. I've got a lot of ideas and around 100 pages of notes, which at this point amount to another 50 episodes. I hope you'll stay tuned and we'll hear each other after summer holidays. On to today's topic. We shall begin with some useful vocabulary items. Get on with. Get on with. Ponaglić kogoś. Get by. Get by. Dawać sobie radę z czymś, często wyjątkowo trudnym. Get through to. Get through to. Być zrozumianym przez kogoś. Get over. Get over. Wyzdrowieć. I was inspired to research the topic of today's podcast by a question. Back at the language school where I teach, we don't use traditional workbooks. Instead, we use something that can be described as a conversation manual. These vary by age and level, but the idea is the same all throughout. You've got questions and you've got answers. The teacher asks questions. The learner answers them by reading the provided answer or coming up with his or her own. Some questions, however, get really philosophical, like this one. Do you agree that we shouldn't worry about things that we can't change? The short answer is yes, clearly. People have trouble with two things, though. Realizing which parts of their lives are out of their control and leaving them to their own devices. Why do we do that anyway? It's only my assumption, but let's look at our potential culprit. Have you ever heard that particular sentence in your life? You can be anyone you want. Why argue with that? Isn't it an empowering thing to say to a young individual? We are fed this fairy tale since childhood. We feed this fairy tale to our children now. It doesn't motivate, it demotivates. It doesn't inspire, it provides us with an illusion. I have neither the skills necessary to play basketball at a professional level, nor the physical requirements to compete against, let's say, LeBron James or Michael Jordan. That's where today's topic, radical acceptance, comes into place. Let's jump right into it. If something is radical, it means that it's extreme, far-reaching. Acceptance is a noun of accept, to agree with something or somebody. In other words, to say yes. Today's article comes from a website, psychologytoday.com. The link is in your notes. It's written in a quite accessible manner, even for a foreign language learner. It's devoid of complicated vocabulary, and the author, Karen Hall, PhD, goes out of her way to reach as many people as possible. That's not always the case with psychology professors, or any professor for that matter. Dr. Hall describes the phenomenon of radical acceptance as, quote, accepting life on life's terms, unquote. It's fine to say yes to life, to take things as is, and not to try forcibly change everything that doesn't measure to social norms. It's not healthy to stubbornly try to get your way. It's not healthy to fight against the fact that life is unfair sometimes. It's probably not the first time, and it definitely won't be the last. Which reminds me of a scene in the third Toy Story film which nicely illustrates the concept of radical acceptance. Toys find themselves in a recycling plant where the litter goes. They get trapped in an incinerator, slowly descending towards the fire. The litter surrounding them is too loose to climb, so there is no escape. Instead of desperately fighting to climb out of the furnace, they embrace in the face of inevitable death. Until they are rescued just in the nick of time, because it's a Disney film and we don't want to upset the kiddies. The point here is that the toys accepted the fact that they are about to be destroyed. Back to the article. The author makes a distinction between pain and suffering. The former is something beyond our control, while the latter is. Let's have an example. I love my car. Every now and then I treat her to some proper cleaning. Hoovering the interior, thoroughly washing the body with a solid coat of wax as a finishing touch. Make no mistake, such a process takes a few hours of labor. Just as I finish and take a few steps back to admire my work, a bird flies over the car and leaves a small souvenir on the hood. This event causes pain, since it destroys this moment of simple pleasure, simple admiration. So, what can I do about it? I can curse at the sky, for example. I may plot my revenge against the feathered fiend. I may chase the bird, hoping to catch him and give him a piece of my mind. All of these alternatives will cause suffering to some extent. Before I do anything of that, I should ask myself, will it be worth it? Will it give me a relief from the pain? More often than not, wrestling with things beyond our control causes even more suffering, not to mention all the time wasted. I may alternatively accept the fact that there are certain creatures called birds which fly about and relieve themselves while they're at it. And just so happened that one of them pooped on my freshly washed car. I can't do anything about it. In fact, nobody can't do anything about it. Who cares even? That's what radical acceptance is about. Embracing the chaos, relieving yourself from an urge to control every single aspect of your life, dealing with pain without causing yourself suffering. It can be something as insignificant as bird poop on a car, or as devastating as losing a friend, losing a loved one. As Dr. Hall puts it, pain is a part of life, and it's difficult to accept reality when it's painful. Perhaps that's why so many people quote-unquote escape reality and venture into its virtual counterpart. It always appears easier to avoid pain or outright ignore it. Where does that lead us, however? With each moment, your unresolved trouble will start causing more pain more often, eventually turning into suffering. Radical acceptance can be a good coping mechanism against events both minor and major. Some examples of events where it can help, apart from being a cartoon toy descending towards death or a bird pooping on your car, include failing exams of any kind, being stuck in traffic, queues of any kind, some trouble at home. Be aware, though, accepting things as they are is not the same as giving up. And, of course, there are instances when you can't or shouldn't leave something as is. The sole realization that unexpected can happen at any turn and being ready to act accordingly, radical acceptance included, is enough. Don't wrestle with life, but rather try to embrace it on your own terms whenever you can, but be ready to accept that letting go is sometimes the right way forward. Thank you for listening. In case you had forgotten, here's the revision of vocabulary for this episode with some example sentences. You'll hear each sentence twice. Let's begin. Get on with. Get on with. Ponaglać kogoś. Would you kindly get on with dishwashing? Would you kindly get on with dishwashing? Get by. Get by. Radzić sobie z czymś, często wyjątkowo trudnym. I get by with a little help from my friends. I get by with a little help from my friends. Get through to. Get through to. Być zrozumianym, dotrzeć do kogoś. Bob finally managed to get through to the waiter that he didn't order gluten-free waffles. Bob finally managed to get through to the waiter that he didn't order gluten-free waffles. Get over. Get over. Wyzdrowieć. Timmy got over chicken pox as a toddler. Timmy got over chicken pox as a toddler. Timmy got over chicken pox as a toddler. And that's the conclusion of today's podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening. I'll talk to you next time.